Hello, my talk is about my experience of using Fable for accessibility testing. So first of all, just a little bit about me. I'm Hannah Pass, I'm a user research lead at the Co-op and I work on the membership team. I do have a background in accessibility. I used to work in the agency called Sigma, now called Nexa, where I used to run audits and facilitate accessibility testing. And when I used to work at the cooperative bank, I used to run accessibility training sessions as well. I think a lot of people, when they think of accessibility testing, people just naturally think screen readers, and I have been guilty of that too. And I don't think it helps that the WCAG guidelines do tend to have a focus on screen reader issues as well. And we've got access to Fable at Co-op, and what this is, it's a website or software that allows you to test your journeys with people with assistive technology really easily. So whether that's a screen reader, screen magnification, switches, voice activation, there's a wide range of technology there that you can use. And you can also be really specific if you want to. So if you wanted to use NVDA on a Windows computer, you can do that, or JAWS on Windows, you can be really specific and narrowing it right down if that's what you want to do. And there are a variety of different tests you can do. So you can run audits, like that example there on the screenshot where it's got graphs and it will tell you the issues one by one that people have faced. You can do moderated one-to-one sessions or unmoderated ones too. And you can even have QA sessions as well with people who've got more technical knowledge who can give code recommendations. So that's always really useful to have if you want if there's a specific problem and you don't know how to fix it. So I first tried out Fable using our careers website. We were already aware that this has a lot of issues, but it's just something that's really important for us as a co-op because not only should we make our systems accessible for our customers, we need to make sure that staff can also apply for a job here. So I tested it with 3 people, and that was one of each. So a screen magnification, a screen reader, and a voice activation. It was actually the first time I'd ever seen or facilitated a test with someone who used voice to navigate a website. It was actually really interesting. I was a bit nervous at first, but it was so eye-opening. And each test showed us different issues. So screen magnification, that highlighted issues on the design side of it. So more like the font weight, empty space, colour contrast, the size of the text. So it highlighted more visual problems, which we weren't as aware of. And the screen reader and voice activation highlighted issues to do with the code. So that was in terms of the way the form works, like errors and radio buttons. And some of the issues that people faced, they weren't able to continue without me explaining what was happening on the screen. So for example, that screenshot there, the find your job container, the yellow box there, when you type in a job, there's a drop-down box that appears. But for a screen reader user, it didn't tell them that there was a drop-down listing that they had to select. So they weren't able to continue on the first screen. So it was really bad. I had to explain them to use their arrow keys to continue. But yeah, they weren't even able to get to the second page. So the main thing I want you to get out of this talk is the importance of testing with a range of assistive technology. We wouldn't have uncovered half the issues without testing with the other types. So we wouldn't have got all the visual issues, and there were loads, if we didn't test the screen magnification, and we wouldn't have got the issues with the code if it wasn't for the voice activation. And they are all equally important. There's not one assistive technology that's more important than another. And my recommendation is that to ensure that your systems are accessible as possible is to test with the range of assistive technology and different types too. We've only had Fable for a few months, and I'm not here to sell Fable. I work for the Co-op, not Fable. I just want to talk about my experience of using it, and that it has opened so many doors already in just a few months we've been using it. You do only need to give 2 days notice, and you can have your sessions booked in. I'm not used to that at all. I'm used to that 2-week lead time, the POs, and it's quite hard to book in sessions. Another great advantage is that they're connected to our VPN for systems that require a login, which is great because the products that I work on all do require a login. And this has been a blocker in the past for systems that I've wanted to test that require the user's laptop to be on our network and IT blocking it. So that was a really great advantage of using it. Another advantage is that it spread the word about accessibility to the team. It's now being talked about daily in our daily stand-ups. And it's really great to hear the word accessibility talked about all the time. And even people who are completely new to accessibility have the opportunity to do their own tests, and they feel confident doing so because of the constant exposure that they've got at the co-op. There's a woman that I work with who is completely new to digital and accessibility, who now has put her hand up and wants to facilitate a test and feels confident doing so, again, because of that constant exposure that she's had from working with me and with the team. It is important to know that it's not perfect. They don't fit the traditional screener questions that you may have. So if we want co-op customers or people if you planned a funeral, we're probably not going to get that, especially the co-op customers because the company's in Canada. So the context isn't quite there. So you don't get that side of the testing out of it. It is the only downfall. The pros definitely outweigh this con, and you can always test further with recruitment agencies as well. So it's not saying you can't do it, it's just you can't do it with this software. I'd always recommend if you need that context to test with a recruitment agency and get that. And when you bake accessibility in from the start, like what we have done for our registration and forgotten password journey, this is what you get. So this is a quote from someone from a moderated Fable test. "This is one of the most easiest, pleasurable websites that I've navigated." And it was great to hear someone talk like that about a system that we've spent so much time making accessible. And we also requested an audit as well, and it came back with 0 issues, and that is the first time that has ever happened. So it just goes to show, if you do put the effort in up front, you test with a wide range of technology, this is the outcome that you get, and it's just great to see. Thank you.